Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Monday, June 16th, 2025. An arrest was made in connection with a motorhome fire in 29 Palms last week. On Wednesday at around 2 a.m., San Bernardino County Fire and the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center Fire Department responded to a report of a motorhome on fire at a residential property near the intersection of Valle Vista Road and Condor Road in 29 Palms. As part of a press release issued by the Sheriff's Department on Friday, deputies say that they witnessed Randall Atherley, a 50-year-old resident of 29 Palms, fleeing the scene of the fire. Deputies say they saw him exiting his truck near the scene of the fire and further evading arrest by entering his home in the 72,000 block of Homestead Drive in 29 Palms. A search warrant was executed at Atherley's home, where deputies say they found live ammunition and other evidence of arson. Atherley was found to be a convicted felon and is prohibited from being in possession of firearms and ammunition. He was taken into custody. Randall Atherley was arrested on suspicion of arson of an inhabited structure, conspiracy to commit a crime, being a prohibited person in possession of a weapon, and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $500,000 bail. An estimated several hundred people gathered Saturday morning at the intersection of 29 Palms Highway and Park Boulevard in Joshua Tree. Despite 100-degree heat, the protest remained peaceful and focused, with participants expressing unity and personal conviction. Reporter Hillary Sloan was there and joins us with this story.
Despite temperatures climbing from the low 80s to nearly 100 degrees, by midday, residents, veterans, and families gathered at all four corners of Park Boulevard and Highway 62, demanding civic accountability. From 9 to 11 a.m. on June 14th, the bustling Joshua Tree intersection was filled with people waving flags, holding signs, and raising their voices in defense of democracy, immigrant rights, and constitutional protections. Volunteers passed out sunscreen, coffee, and water. Christian, who helped coordinate hydration efforts, wasn't part of any official group.
We just felt compelled to come out here because we knew it was going to be 100 degrees out today.
For Rand, a Marine Corps veteran in a wheelchair, the protest was about principle and survival.
I have a spinal cord injury. They defunded research for veteran spinal cord injury. It's the first thing they cut. I took the oath, I raised my hand, they made a promise. I upheld my end of the bargain. Now they're failing on their promise.
Others voiced concern over the erosion of constitutional checks and balances.
I think it's important to come out and show that you don't support, having a king as a president and somebody that feels like they have immunity from doing anything that they want to do via executive order. And also to show support for immigrants in our community that are the backbone of our country.
The protest ended peacefully, with organizers encouraging ongoing engagement. Many described the morning not as an endpoint, but a starting place for ongoing civic action. For more information about the No King's Day protest, see this story at Z107.7fm.com. For Z107.7, this is reporter Hillary Sloan.
Hillary noted a counter-protest also happening on Saturday. She said a number of Trump supporters stood outside the shuttered Mel Benson real estate office at the intersection, holding flags that read Donald Trump 2024 and Make America Great Again. A hand-painted sign reading, quote, "Your daddy's home," rested against a rusted old truck. Z107.7 received witness statements that a white pickup truck intentionally drove into two protesters who were crossing 29 Palms Highway in a crosswalk. Witnesses said that the protesters were not seriously injured and that the driver then exposed himself to protesters from out of his vehicle window. Z107.7 has reached out to the Sheriff's Department for confirmation on this incident. 24-hour construction on State Route 247, known locally as Old Woman Springs Road, continues this week. Caltrans has issued an advisory that crews are scheduled to hold continuous 24-hour flagging operations on the road at Aberdeen Drive and in the wash south of Ritchie Road. Caltrans says that these continuous flagging operations will continue through Friday. Caltrans says that wait times on each side of the flagging operations are expected to be 20 minutes, and they ask that you plan ahead. The construction project is part of an extensive road rehabilitation program that involves repaving and widening the road shoulders for signage and bike lanes. Joshua Tree National Park officials have issued fire restrictions. They have said that due to hot and dry conditions, the park is now under a park-wide fire restriction, including all campgrounds and backcountry sites. Wood and charcoal fires are specifically prohibited. That includes campfires, fire pits, and grills. These restrictions will be in effect until October. The Yucca Valley Town Council meets in regular session tomorrow afternoon with a look at their agenda. Here is Adeline J. Wells.
Tomorrow night's Yucca Valley Town Council meeting will include housekeeping for several town initiatives. The meeting will begin with a public hearing on town vacancies and associated recruitment and retention efforts. To address the issue of vacancies in the public sector, public agencies are required to present on their status every fiscal year. The council will also review professional services agreements related to improvements at the High Desert Nature Museum and a construction change order for Phase 2 of the Senior Center Modernization Project. The council will then consider a request for proposals for the operation and management of a farmers market within the town. A 2023 survey indicated strong community support for the development of such an event, with 94% of participating residents expressing interest. The council has worked with the Planning Commission to establish guidelines for a regular farmers market in Yucca Valley and provided direction at their meeting on February 18th to move forward. Town staff created an RFP to garner interest from experienced operators to lead the new event. Lastly, the council will review a proposed amendment to the employment agreement of town manager Curtis Yakimo, last amended in 2021. The town manager is appointed by and reports to the town council. Their role consists of enforcing municipal laws, hiring all town department heads and employees, submitting the annual budget, and overseeing the operations of town functions and departments. The town council recently conducted an evaluation and awarded Yakimo with an excellent performance rating for the past year. The proposed merits would include a $50,000 salary increase and a 5-year extension of his term to run through June 30th, 2030. Tomorrow night's meeting is open to the public and begins at 5 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
And finally, the town of Yucca Valley's Youth Commission concluded a month-long food drive in support of local families affected by domestic violence. Throughout May, the Youth Commission collected several hundred pounds of non-perishable food items and dry goods, all of which were donated to Unity Home, a nonprofit organization providing shelter, advocacy, and support to survivors of domestic violence. The Youth Commission chose this initiative to raise awareness and offer practical assistance to vulnerable families in the Morongo Basin. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.